I showed up at the event wearing the charcoal suit I had envisioned wearing with pride, the one I had tailored 6 months prior. Wore a silk tie. My shoes shone, and the cloth fit my shoulders like a glove as I carried my daughter down the aisle. Held a little card in my hand. White, embossed with gold trim and with a handwritten inscription, like freshly cut obsidian. It took me 2 nights and a ton of feelings to write to Callie. It started with the idea, no matter how tall you get, you will always be the kid who made my life worthwhile. I could have recited it in my head 1,000 times. My slumber was years of birthday pancakes and scraped knees, not just a card. With its bedtime stories and science fair posters printed in ink, the venue felt like a dream. Enormous crystal chandeliers glistened from within towering floral arrangements, and a dim trail of music filled the air. It should have been a proud day, the kind where your heart floats through the entryway to the sound of violins, where it's about to explode with joy. But then, I saw something. A young woman, probably not older than 23, stood behind. A velvet rope. Navy outfit. Hotel insignia above her breast pocket. Name tag. A tight smile at the corners of her mouth, as if it had been glued there too long. "Good afternoon, sir. May I see your name?" She stepped slightly to obstruct my path. I confidently provided it, Marcus Reynolds, anticipating the warm escort, maybe even a glass of champagne. Her eyes flicked across a tablet screen, and then, "I apologize, sir. You're not on the guest list." I blinked, offered again. Her lips zipped shut. "There must be a mistake," I said, pointing behind her. "I'm the father of the bride, Marcus Reynolds." I saw the pink rise in her cheeks. "I'm sorry, but I've been told only individuals on the verified list are permitted entry." "Don't panic," I told myself. "Someone probably just missed a line in the spreadsheet." I stepped aside and called Julia. She answered on the second ring, but her voice was cold, distant. "Yes," she snapped. "Julia, I'm outside. Can you let Belle know I'm not on the list? They won't let me in." Silence. My heart pounded. Once. Twice. Then she said it. So clearly, so casually. "That's because you're not the target audience for this event. Genuine family only." I stared at my reflection in the hotel's glass doors, mouth opening and closing like a fish gasping. For air. "Julia, we talked about this. Callie doesn't need—" She cut me off. "Drama. Let's keep it classy." I paid for the entire event space, the flowers, the absurd 7-layer cake Callie pinned to a Pinterest board 4 years ago, the luxury clothing, before I could speak again. Another voice took the phone. "Malcolm, smug. We'll send you some leftovers." "Or not," he said, his words slamming into my chest like a coffin lid. Then he hung up. I stood still, phone in hand, silent, not yet angry, just shocked, stunned by the betrayal. Belle wouldn't meet my eyes. She shuffled awkwardly, pretending not to see me. I didn't make a scene, didn't shout. I kept the card. In my hand, the gold trim wrinkling in my grip. That's when I knew this wasn't a mistake. Not a glitch, not a miscommunication. I was deleted. Laughter drifted from behind the doors. A man shouting, "Congratulations!" A woman's high-pitched laugh, music swelling. They were having fun. With my money. Under chandeliers I had paid, for I built this day for my daughter, brick by brick, and they struck my name like a typo from her story. I reached my car, settled into the leather seat. I didn't cry. Wasn't ready to. I just sat. Silently, I imagined the guests filing in, men in tuxedos, women in silk. And Callie, smiling, dress flowing like mist, hand in someone else's as she walked down the aisle. I backed out, placed the smashed card. On the seat beside me, Julia had probably told her I didn't want to come. I gripped the wheel with shaking fingers, breathing unsteady, but I didn't scream. Didn't pound the dashboard. Because after you've given everything, and they still shut you out? Silence comes first, not anger, and silence, it's loud. So loud it burns. I watched Callie's college friends arrive. Old neighbors, distant, cousins. They passed the velvet rope without hesitation. No one asked them for names. I paid for those imported marble floors. Stone Julia insisted on for better light in photographs. $12,000, and I wasn't allowed to walk on it. A couple posed. The camera flash burst like fireworks. I shuddered. Then I laughed. Not happily, just that dry, sour kind of laugh that doesn't leave your throat. I reached into the glove compartment and pulled out a small velvet box. Inside, rose gold. A delicate sapphire necklace. My grandmother's. Then my mother's, now Callie's. Not a wedding gift. A legacy. I wasn't sure it would mean anything to her, but I had to leave it. A young man approached, recognized me from the dozens of email, threads, room blocks, deposits, invoices. Can I help you, sir? Yes, I said, steadying my voice. Can you get this to Callie Reynolds? She's the bride. From her father. No note. She'll know. He looked at the box, then at me. Of course, sir. Thank you. I turned and watched the revolving door spin with guests. Then I walked away. Back in the car, engine running. I didn't know where I was going, only that I had to go. It was 1:13 p.m. The ceremony would have begun. Someone else was walking her down the aisle. Probably Malcolm, smiling like a politician. He'd always wanted to take my place. I leaned my head against the steering wheel and exhaled, not out of sadness. Something older, deeper. A lifetime of carrying weight no one noticed, of being reduced, edited, rebranded into a silent shadow who paid bills and stayed quiet. My phone buzzed. Not a call, just a notification. Photo. Julia's public story, Callie standing alone in her gown, hands clasped nervously. No caption, no father, no context. I stared at the image, then deleted it. Because I knew, even if I wasn't in the picture, I was in the fabric of her dress, in the ceiling of that venue. In every detail, Julia took credit. 4. I was the invisible architect of that day. But one question burned deeper. Did Callie know? Did she choose to let me be erased? Or was she rewritten by the same woman who once rewrote our marriage? I pulled away from the curb. Didn't cry. Didn't scream. But something settled in my chest. Not exclusion, not even betrayal, abandonment. That silence. It was deafening. When I got